Welcome. The intention today is truth, being truthful to your authentic self. We begin with 3 ohms today. Please feel free to join. Take a deep breath and we'll begin. Allow yourself to sit in that vibration. Preparing for skull shining breath, Kapalabhati. Please refrain from Kapalabhati if you have uncontrolled high blood pressure. Simply follow regular breath. Sitting nice and tall, take 3 in breaths and out breaths with control. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward, empty completely again. Inhale. Exhale, empty, pull belly to spine. Inhale, fill completely. Exhale, empty out. Inhale, and then exhaling, pulling navel to spine, pulsing. Kapalabhati, we don't worry about the in-breath. The body creates its own vacuum to draw the breath in. You will pulse by exhaling and up to 60 or 70 rounds, or maybe just beginning at 10 if you're new. X, 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 X. Continue. The shoulders remain relaxed. This is simply the abdominals. And last one. And then inhale, hold the in-breath, move that energy up towards your skull. Holding that in-breath for about 1 minute or less. You don't want to be strained or stressed. To release the breath, you keep the eyes closed and simply observe the effects of 1 round of Kapalabhati. When you're ready, begin round 2, pumping the abdomen, snapping it back towards the spine. Exhale, and then take a deep breath in and hold the in-breath, moving that energy up towards the crown. And release. Breathe naturally. Observe 2 rounds of Kapalabhati, skull shining breath, interior gaze. Just breathing naturally here and observing the effects. And if you'd like, a third round. And release. Take a deep breath in and hold that in-breath. Move the energy up. When you're ready, release and observe again, observing your interior world. Prepare for alternate nostril breathing. The left hand will come into index and thumb finger connecting, right hand up towards your face, your thumb on the outside of the right nostril and your ring finger on the outside of the left. The second and third finger can rest on the forehead or tuck in. The eyes are closed. Inhale for a count of 4 through the left nostril. Hold the breath for approximately a count of 12 if that's available, otherwise whatever count is available. And then exhale out of the right, empty about twice as long as the inhale. Observe the pause when there's nothing going on in the body. And then inhale right. Close and retain the breath for as long as is comfortable for you. And then exhale out of the left. Empty completely. Observe the stillness. And you'll simply continue that. And you'll inhale left. Retain the breath. And exhale right. Empty, pull the navel to spine. Inhale right. Retain the breath. And exhale left. Continue on your own count. We end with an exhalation out of the left nostril when you get there. Always out of the left nostril. And then release your hand. Keep the eyes closed. Remaining interiorized, noticing the effects of alternate nostril breathing. Feeling balanced, settled, and mentally stable. Beautiful. Let's begin to shrug those shoulders up, back, around, and down. You can always change the position of your legs right now if you need a bit of a break. Coordinate your movements with your breath. Resting the hands, keeping the chest elevated, begin to descend your chin towards your chest, just the first place of resistance, not forcing. Breathing here. Elevate it back to neutral. Take a look over to the right. Chin parallel with the shoulder. Coming back through center and exhale over to the other side. Beautiful. Back through center. Interlace your hands behind the back of your head. And you're not pulling on your head here. You're pressing the head into the hands and opening the chest. Open and breathe here across your ribs. To release those hands down. Coming into a seated spinal twist, I'll simply turn to the side. You want to make sure that your shoulders stay above your hips and you're not sitting on that bottom heel. So I'm crossing the right leg over the left. You can just sit crisscross, but we will switch leading legs and start to rotate over towards the right. You can wrap the right arm around the low back. Keep elevating through your crown on the in-breath. And on the exhalation, find your rotation right from your hips. Release that back to center. Cross your opposite leg in front. And then you'll begin to rotate to the other side. Take a deep breath in, right up to your crown. And exhale, revolving over to the left this time. Keeping your shoulders even. And if that toe is available, you can always hold that with your hand. But there is no need to achieve that. Just wherever you get is great. Great, let's release that. Square off your shoulders over your hips. And begin to bring the soles of your feet together as we come into butterfly pose. Make sure you're sitting towards the front of your sitting bones and not leaning back. Feeling each in-breath and each out-breath. Second variation, walk your feet further away or your sitting bones slightly back, making more of a diamond shape with the heels and the toes connected. If it's available, hold your toes and begin to lean the forehead towards the arches of your feet. This will feel different in the body. Again, we never pull or bounce or strain. Completely different sensation here. Breathing in and breathing out. Rounding here is to be expected, and you're not forcing the head towards the arches of the feet, just wherever you get. Next option, wrapping the arms underneath the knees, keeping the feet together. This is turtle pose. Really the idea of withdrawing inwards here like a turtle in its shell. Interiorization is referred to as pratyahara. Inhale, rising up, and then begin to draw your knees together and come down onto your back on the floor. To one of my favorite things, walking my feet a little bit wider, arms a little bit further away from the torso, and start to let your knees gently rock from side to side, and then allow your knees to stay dropped down towards the left, and you can look over to the right, using that exhalation to settle in a little more, and the inhalations to expand in towards the left rib cage. Inhale back through center, and then over to the other side. Conscious breathing. Long and even and slow. Inhale, drawing back through center and preparing for bridge. Let those heels come underneath the knees. Arms right alongside the rib cage, broad across your back. Begin to elevate your hips to the sky. Use some glute action here, and exhale to slowly lower down. You're going to do this 4 more times. Inhale, feeling the weight shift towards your shoulders, and exhale, letting the hips draw down. And this 5th time, when you rise up, allow yourself to stay here. Walk your shoulder blades under, maybe interlace your hands and stretch the arm bones down to the ground and the hands towards the feet. So there's a lot of action of pressing the arms into the earth. Keeping some glute action here so you're not pinching the lower back. Finding breath in the openness of the front of the body. And releasing down, slow and controlled. Take a break or come back up. I'll show another option. You can do just what you just did, or take the option of holding the ankles and pressing those hips back up to the sky, keeping those knees hip distance apart. We never want the back of the neck on the floor here. Breathe expansion into the front of the body. And exhale, lower back down slow. Inhale and exhale the left knee in towards the chest. Give it a good squeeze. And release that down, other side. And exhale, squeeze that knee into the chest. Beautiful. And both knees coming in, squeezing, broadening the back along the floor. Begin to open your knees wide towards your armpit so that the thigh bones can slide off of the side body here, with the knees projecting down towards the ground. You can hold the back of your thighs or the soles of your feet A beautiful rotation here through the hips. The arms can help to assist gravity, just a little extra weight, but not forcing. No pain ever. And breathing. And release down. Give yourself a squeeze and feet meet the earth. Arms out to the side. Take your right leg, extend it up to the sky, cross the left leg, squeeze the thighs close together, maybe wrap the toe around the ankle if that's available. Pick your bum up, move it slightly over to the right, and exhale your knees down to the left so that that right hip is stacking above the left hip. And the rotation begins from there, extending your arm really wide, maybe using a hand to assist. Inhale, head and knees back through center. Release the leg. And let's take that all over to the other side. Extend your left leg up, cross it over the right thigh, and scoot your glutes slightly over towards me. And then exhale your knees down. Feel a couple of conscious breaths here. Inhale back through center. Square the backs of your shoulders on the ground. Let your pelvis find its neutral position on the floor. And extend your feet to the corners of the mat for a moment. Arms wide, feet wide. Observe. 20 minutes into your practice, just notice how you feel already because you showed up to the mat. Now begin to bend your knees and roll over onto one side. Feel the breath in the back of your body. And find your way up to a tabletop position, knees under the hips, front of the wrists under the front of your shoulders. In coordination with your breath, moving through cow and cat to articulate between the vertebrae. Inhale, let the collarbone shine, throat forward, throat open. Exhale, navel to spine, look towards your hips. Inhale, opening the chest. Exhale, navel to spine, pull the hips forward, head looks towards the navel, and continue that a few more times. And draw back into child's pose, sitting bones towards the heels, resting the arms. Join me back up in tabletop. Spread those fingers wide and extend your right leg out to the side. Left hand down underneath the left shoulder and the right arm alongside the right ear, coming into gate pose. Breathing into that right side of your body from the outer edge of your foot that is on the ground all the way through the tips of your fingers. Maybe the option of lifting that right leg parallel to the floor, pressing through the heel. Maybe right hand comes into a T-shaped formation as you reach from your heart. Next option, to take that foot with that top hand, opening up your quadricep and the front of your hip. Ride the breath wave here. And release. All the way down, just the way you came up. Come back to tabletop to make the transition. Extend your left leg out to the side. Right hand under the right shoulder, that wrist right underneath that shoulder, and extending the left arm, the top arm up. You can extend it alongside your ear if you preferred that option. I'm just showing different options. Next option, to elevate that left leg parallel to the ground, making it really active. So reaching through the heel and again, maybe stretching the arm alongside the ear. You choose your option. Next option, taking the front of that foot in the hand, opening up the front of the hip, opening up that left quadricep. Breathe. Feel the breath. And releasing slowly back down. Spread those fingers wide. Prepare to come into downward dog, but first draw the sitting bones back. Pull the mat towards you. Engage the muscles in the upper back and the arms and elevate your sitting bones to the sky. The tops of your wrists are parallel with the top of your mat. Be aware of that. And you can always vary the distance between your hands. If they need to be a little more narrow, then make them so, or a little wider. All depends on your structure. We're narrowing the side body here. Stretching the heels down to the ground, strong upper body. Imagine you've got a rubber band around your upper arms. And begin to walk your feet in between your hands or your hands towards your feet, coming into a deeper forward fold. You can always have the option of hands on your shins. I'm reaching the crown right out of my pelvis. And then exhale, folding over those legs. If you need to bend the knees, that's fine. And as you come up, use the strength of your legs. Press through the floor, bend the knees, inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, roll the shoulders back and down. Stand here in strong Tadasana. The crown reaches up, the ankles, the hips, the shoulders, the ears, all in one long line. Your legs are active. The breathing is even. Now let's step our feet wide and prepare for Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Pick up your right toes, pivot your foot out so your right heel is approximately in line with your left heel or left instep, and begin to bend into your right knee. Check the position of the knee over the ankle. You might find that if you take your right foot, maybe one big toe width further over towards the right, that might feel better. The action of the top edge of your thigh bone near your pelvis shifting towards midline and the knee opening towards the baby toe. Use some glute action here. Lengthening out the right leg, coming into Trikonasana. Again, the leg muscles are strong, the glutes are active, both sides of the rib cage trying to lengthen out of the pelvis. You can gaze up, forward, or down. Breathing here. Use some action through your side body muscles as well as the legs. Standing strength pose. Inhale, coming back up, bending into that right knee, and then picking up the toes, planting your hands on your hips, and over to the other side, picking your left toes up, pivot that thigh bone open, bending into the left knee, Warrior Two. That right foot is parallel with the narrow end of your mat. Arms extending out wide, about shoulder height. Firming up here again, that left knee pressing towards the baby toe, and that will shift the top end of that thigh bone more towards midline. Breathe. Inhale, lengthening out the left leg, reaching forward like you're trying to reach for something just past the foot, and extending right arm up to the sky. Left fingers just gently graze that bottom shin. You're not dropping your weight onto that hand. Engage obliques and legs. Come back up, bending into the left knee, and then shifting that foot parallel again. Hands encircle the waist. Check the position of your feet. Make sure they're parallel, so toes aren't pointing out, but they're pointing directly forward. And exhale, pivoting the pelvis over those thigh bones. I'm not using my blocks, but you feel free to bring the floor a little bit higher towards you, focusing on keeping length from the sitting bones to the crown and the shoulders, keeping the chest space open, breathing here into the back of the legs. Bring your hands onto your hips. Bend your knees slightly. Power through the legs. Come up. And step your feet together. Stepping left foot forward about 2.5 feet. You want to make sure your left heel is on the ground and you're pivoting that left hip open slightly, but you've got energy like it's spiraling in and down. So it's a little bit of an external rotation, but there's internal rotation energy. Engage your quadriceps. Inhale and exhale. Bow down over that front leg. Keeping the toes on the floor. The breath even in the body. Your drishti is your gaze, and it's down towards your toes. You'll notice my hands are behind the back. Yours may be as well, or they may be forward on blocks. Always make it your practice. Inhale, come up. I'm simply shifting over to the other side. Pivoting that left foot open slightly. That pivoting originates at the hip. And as you exhale, folding forward, make sure that back heel stays on the ground and all 10 toes stay on the earth. Lengthening through the torso, gazing down past your right toes. In breath, press through the earth, come up. Exhale, step your feet together. Preparing for Krasana tree pose. Press down through the left leg. Keep all 5 toes of the left foot on the floor. Pivot open that right knee, placing the foot on the inner calf, or lifting it above the kneecap and placing it on your inner thigh. And you keep pressing that standing leg down into the ground and the foot in towards the thigh or the calf as you reach up to the sky. So you're using both directions here to stabilize, finding a movable spot for your gaze. Find a position for your arms that works for you. Remember, trees come in all different shapes and sizes. And begin to release down. You'll take that over to the other side. Make sure the standing leg is rooted and strong, but not locked. The toes on the ground are spread. Begin to find your tree on the opposite side. You can also use the support of your pelvic floor. Always use the support of your breath. And exhale, release back down. Begin to draw your right heel in towards your glute. Keep your inner thighs close together. So squeeze your inner thighs together here. Press the hand into the foot. If you don't have that, you can always, the idea of bring your heel as close as you can. Stretching out the quadricep. Keep pointing that left knee down. Maybe extend your right arm up alongside your ear. Press down through the standing leg. A couple of breaths and release the hand, release the foot. Same thing, other side. Root down through your right foot. And bring that left foot into the hand. Extend the left arm up to the sky. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Point that left knee down to the ground. Deep breath in. And release. Okay, so you can either repeat that or take the next variation, which is dancer pose. Sweeping that right arm around, taking that foot once again into the hand, keeping those knees squeezed together, those inner thighs close. Extend the left arm up to the sky. Again, maybe staying here, or begin to draw your crown forward, hinging those hips. Pressing the foot into the hand, keep reaching through the top leg, through the front arm. Pelvis stays neutral. It's a bit of a back bend. Breathing here, find the stability of the toes on the ground. And slow and controlled, release that down. take it over to the other side. And release. Nice work. Make sure you've checked in with your breathing. Present moment. Interlace your hands, rotate your palms to the sky, and lean up and over to the right, breathing into the left side body, pressing the feet down into the earth, keeping those arms hugging alongside the ears. Squeeze those biceps towards the head. Inhale up through center and exhale up and out of the hips and over to the other side. The feet pressing down into the earth. Press down through the earth. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands to heart center and fold the heart forward. Standing forward, fold. Coming into squatting toe balance. So lift your heels off the ground. Keep your knees glued together, ankles glued together. Descending the sitting bones as you elevate your heels. Going to rest the elbows on the knees and bring your gaze towards your third eye. Remain stable here in your balance, strengthening the toes, steady in your gaze, steady in your breath. Releasing your fingers to the floor. Release your heels and begin to roll up over those thighs. Bow down, lengthening those legs. Walk your hands forward and step your feet back. Lower the knees to the floor, hug the elbows in towards the ribs, and slowly, slowly lower your chest down to the ground. Beautiful. Lengthen your legs. Lengthen the fronts of the ankles along the ground, all 10 toes and all 10 toenails stretching down to the earth, including the baby toenail. I like to lift my legs up, lengthen them, and lower them back down. Energize your thighs here. So you notice the kneecaps trying to work their way off the ground with the strength of your legs. Begin to shine your heart forward. Opening the heart, reach through the crown. Feel the strength of your back body here as you pull your navel away from the earth. Squeezing your inner thighs towards each other. Breathing here. And exhale, lower the head down. Prepare to do that again. Energize the thighs, sweep the heart forward. Beautiful natural arch in the back. You can stay down where you were before or elevate your chest more if the spine is ready. Keep activity through the glutes and through the legs. Pressing the hands away, opening up the front of the body. Elbows stay hugging in. Breathe. Beautiful spinal extension here. And slowly, slowly lower down with control. Relax the forehead. Now walk your hands back, still hugging in towards the ribs, squeezing those elbows together, and begin to extend and lengthen the left leg, reaching out of the toe. Keeping the forehead on the ground, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Exhale, release down. Inhale, lifting the left leg up and out of the hip, reaching nice and long as you squeeze the shoulder blades together. Release that down. And this time, keeping the toes on the floor, feel your heart draw forward and up. Strong glutes, strong legs, and maybe fly, let those arms sweep alongside the body as your toes rise up. Beautiful back strengthening and chest opening. Exhale and release down. Relax, relax the arms, rest a cheek on the ground. Nice. Let's switch cheeks. Let's make our way up. Press through your hands. We're going to come to seated. Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Walk your sitting bones back. Lengthening again the crown out of your pelvis. Keep the integrity of your spine. Never wanting to collapse, not collapsing, not yin today. So keep it active. Keep the thighs active. Maybe reach for the toes or for the shins. And leading with the heart. Inhale, coming up. And start to make your way back into a tabletop position. Take the right arm out to the side. Inhale, reaching it up like a wing, and exhale, weaving it underneath your left arm. Keeping the top thigh bones above the knees. Begin to pivot just ever so slightly, feeling your chest revolve. Using your left hand to support on the floor or wrapping around your low back. Never dropping the weight here into your neck. Modify as needed anytime. Please release that down and come back up into tabletop to shift to the other side. I'm simply rotating so you can see me, but you don't need to move. Extending your right arm out to the side, begin to weave it underneath the left armpit. Again, the hips stacked above the knees as you find that rotation from your pelvis all the way up. Option to wrap that left arm around the low back, open that shoulder a little more. And release down, come back into tabletop. Adho Mukha Svanasana, tuck your toes under, extend your sitting bones up to the sky, and slowly pedal your heels down towards the ground, extending your heels down, and then extending one leg up, three-legged dog. And release that down. Same thing, other side, reaching up and out of your heel, keeping your pelvis in neutral, and exhale, releasing that down. Lower the knees to the ground, interlacing your fingers. If you have any rings on, you're going to want to remove those because that can pinch. And as the fingers interlace, pressing these elbows down to the floor. The elbows are underneath the shoulders. Coming into something called dolphin pose, continuing to work your heels down to the ground, beautiful diagonal from your sitting bones to your elbows, and begin to draw your shoulders forward. Starting to build upper back strength here in preparation for an inversion. The inversion is always optional. You're going to move forward and back several times in coordination with your breath and keeping tone through the abdomen. Taking a break at any time. Beautiful. Finding your breath here. And last one, let your sitting bones rise and lower your knees to the floor. Come back into Balasana, child's pose. Resting the arms, resting the head, relax the shoulders, allowing some rounding here. In a moment, I'll be demonstrating headstand pose. Please do not proceed to do this if you haven't had instruction one-on-one. This is not something to attempt at home, although I do realize there are some of you that have a headstand practice, and I want to give that option. If you have not done a headstand practice, please repeat what we just did or stay in child's pose. If you have a headstand practice, you will proceed through. For those with a headstand practice, elbows underneath the shoulders. Remember, those elbows are no wider than your shoulders, interlacing your fingers and sweeping and pressing the head into the hands. My head actually isn't even on the floor here. It's pressing into my hands, and it's my forearms that are on the ground. Do not bear weight in your neck, please. If you're just starting a headstand, you can stay right here in Ardha Shirshasana, half headstand pose, and still building the strength in your upper body. If it's available, you can begin to lengthen your legs up to the sky. Keep pressing the arm bones down into the ground, toning into the lower belly, stacking once again the shoulders, the hips, and the ankles, reaching through your toes, energizing those legs, spiraling them in and up towards the sky. Again, this is not a practice I want you to do if you have never done this before. You'll hold for a few breaths, and then ever so slowly, using the strength of your abdominals, lower the feet down to the ground. We always keep our head on the ground after an inversion. So stay in child's pose, keeping the head down. Breathing here. So bringing the arms forward, and I'm going to invite you to come over onto your backs. Matsyasana fish pose, walking your hands underneath your glutes, palms facing the ground. Walk your elbows in. Squeeze your thighs together, squeeze the ankles together. You can stay right here with your arms on the ground. If Matsyasana is in your practice, you'll press into your arms and stack your shoulders over your elbows. Being very careful with your neck. We never want to pinch the neck. Another variation, if it's in your practice, is to reach your toes off of the floor. Coming into a little bit of a V, strong abdominals. Always working within your ability. And begin to lower down all the way to the ground. Release the arms, release the legs. Beautiful practice, beautiful effort. Maybe one more squeeze for the whole body. Tighten every muscle. Squeeze the hands. Squeeze the legs. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And exhale. Release. This is a great time to grab a blanket, socks, eye pillow as we prepare for Shavasana. So we've had a lot of shorter practices recently, but today you're going to have a nice long relaxation. Pam, if you're listening, you will like this relaxation. Take a few more moments to settle in. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Feel free to repeat that as necessary a couple more times. Ensure that you are committing to surrender the weight of your body into the support of Mother Earth. The eyes are closed. You're allowing the body to be simultaneously soft and heavy. Soft and heavy. Feel the weight of your body dropping down into the earth. Eyes closed, allow the body to be both soft and heavy, feeling a global relaxation of the entire physical body. A feeling of abandoning the physical structure on the ground, just like you would a discarded piece of clothing at the end of the day, letting it just drop down into the earth. With feather-light awareness, come down to the tips of your left toes and begin to gradually relax from the left toes all the way up to your left hip, relaxing from down, upward. Now notice the relaxation of the left leg. Shift the awareness into the tips of the right toes and continue the gradual relaxation from the right toes to the right hip, from down, upward. Notice now the relaxation of the right leg. Notice the relaxation of both legs together, the left and the right leg relaxed. Shift the awareness into the tips of your left fingers, continuing that gradual relaxation from the left fingers all the way up to the left shoulder, from down, upward. Notice the relaxation of the left arm. Shift the awareness into the tips of the right fingers and continue the gradual relaxation from down, upward, from the right fingers to the right shoulder. Notice now the relaxation of the right arm. Notice the relaxation of all four limbs, 2 legs and 2 arms relaxed. The awareness shifts into the pelvis, relaxing the pelvis, relaxing the deep internal muscles of the pelvis. Relax the muscles of the buttocks. Relax the abdominal muscles from down upward. Relax all the muscles of the back, the whole back, from down, upward, the whole back relaxed. Relax the muscles of the chest and the shoulders. Relax the muscles of the neck, the throat, and the nape of the neck. And now relax all the muscles of the face. Relax the chin and the jaw. Relax the tongue and the cheeks. Relax the muscles around the nose and the ears. Relax the muscles around the eyes, the eyelids, and the eyeballs. Relax the muscles of the forehead, the temples, and the scalp. Notice the relaxation of the entire physical body. And a condition of absolute mental freedom. Experience a sense of union between yourself and the universe. A condition of harmony and deep inner peace. Now begin to come back to the sensations in your physical body, starting with the breath. Noticing the breath and beginning to deepen it. Slowly coming back, feeling yourself in this space, in this room, beginning to move. Maybe stretching the arms above the head. Noticing how you feel as you continue to come back. Continue coming back in a way that serves you, eventually rolling over onto a side and finding your way in seated. Eyes closed, simply resting as the eternal self. Inviting you to close by bringing your hands to your heart. Giving thanks for the practice. Thanks for all those around the world that are practicing with you, even virtually. Thank you to the teachers that have gone before us. I bow to your light. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me. It's both an honor and a privilege to be on this journey with you. Namaste.